ATL losing to KC 22-17. What were you thinking about this game here, Jer? I know you had a little wager on it.
Yeah, and cash, my first bet 365 bet, moved on over.
I
Getting
like it.
about play now.
Yes.
So Atlanta just came out flying. Their offense was on fire. And, that's Steve Spagnuolo defense. They adjust and they come back out and they hold them to a field goal for the rest of the game, and a late field goal at that.
Yeah, a lot of
Loving it.
third down conversions that Cousins couldn't get. And when Spags brings the heat, I mean, most of the time the defense gets home, or it's not an easy play for their team. So credit to him. And just looking at the stats here, Rashee Rice had a big game, 12 receptions, a buck 10, 14 targets. Kelsey, I mean, okay, I guess, 4 receptions, 30 yards. Not really getting used like he used to, you know what I mean? In the offense, he's
Oh,
kind of passed
he's just
on
old,
the torch.
reliable now.
Too much time with the Swifty gang, or is he just like kind of sleepwalking to the playoffs?
Yeah, and then he goes off,
Yeah,
as you know.
yeah. Well, yeah. Carson Steele had 70 yards. Pretty impressive from the
And no
rookie.
fumbles. No
No
fumbles.
fumbles. P. Ryan had 6 for 25. Worthy had a couple of 3 carries. He didn't do too much in the air. Surprisingly, Bijan didn't do too much for Atlanta on the
Oh,
ground,
got
only
his got his
31
got his
yards.
touchdown. Got his touchdown though, so he's putting in
He
there.
got his
Juju
time.
Smith-Schuster too, getting
Hmm.
back into form, catching a touchdown.
Yeah.
Wanting another Super Bowl. Looks like.
Oh, he'll ride some coattails, definitely. Atlanta, I mean, they had London with 6 receptions, 67 yards. Darnell Mooney had 8 receptions, 66 yards. He's getting a lot of targets. Kyle Pitts, only 2 receptions, 59 yards. Obviously, the big 50-yarder that he had. But it just seems like Atlanta, they can't get their rushing game going, the play action. They're not going to really score much. On paper, they look like they're high potent and, like a high flying team, but just they just don't make those big plays and when it counts. And
Darnell Mooney
credit
was
to
really carving up the Philadelphia defense
he
on
was,
Monday night there, and I'm like, oh, I can't
yeah,
wait
he's
to see
sneaky
what the
good.
New Orleans receivers are going to do to this defense. But no,
Mhm.
Vic Fangio buckled down, and wow,
Right.
3-0 after the first half there, like crazy, crazy.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, KC gave Atlanta chances to take this game. It was a pretty low scoring second half, and Atlanta just they had a decent first half, I thought. They had a little bit of momentum. They're up 1, and then just KC's defense buckled up, like you said, took advantage and took hold of this game, and KC will be moving on to week 4, 3-0. They'll be going into the Rams, which will probably be another home game for them because, their fans travel well. Atlanta, they'll be hosting the 2-1 New Orleans Saints. So there's a lot of divisional matchups next week. So
Oh
probably some
no.
probably interesting spreads to look out. Anything over 3, you're getting 3.5 in a division game. You have to look at it hard, one way or the other, right? Because it's, as we know, they're just so pivotal to points in the division, as we know. So we're going to look at any other thoughts that you had for this game that you wanted to share with the crowd and the public?
No, just again, just really admire how Spags just kind of switches things up and just shuts things down. I think it's great, and we'll see. I'd like to see a good matchup in the Super Bowl this year. Nice,
Mhm.
whatever. Last one was exciting, but
Yeah, it went to
yeah,
overtime,
can't
right?
wait. Yeah.
But but I think for the most part, KC's kind of sleepwalking a little bit, even though they're 3-0. It's not like they're killing teams by like 20
They
plus
don't look
because
like they're
they don't
firing
need
on all
to.
cylinders.
Yeah, kind of like Kelsey, and like they don't need to. Pacheco's out now. I could just see them kind of like, okay, you know what? We're okay winning by 5, 3, 4, whatever the heck, a touchdown here or there. And, winning the division, hopefully getting a bye, and then we'll see you in December, January. But
Yes.
I think Atlanta's got work to do. They got to get more touchdowns. They got to get in the end zone. They got to work on getting the ball to Bijan a little bit more creatively or whatever it is, because this guy's getting 30 yards on the ground. Like, good luck. Like, come on.
Yeah, no, he was supposed
You
to
have
be
a
so
lot of
much more
capital invested in
explosive.
him.
Yeah,
Hmm.
definitely.
So,
Yeah.
hmm.
Well,
Okay,
Atlanta's
so
defense is, we'll
yes,
see.
Atlanta's defense, I think, is pretty solid for the most part. Like they've kept them in
Grady
all the
Jarrett.
games they've
Yeah,
played.
good.
They can get to the quarterback, and I think they've been pretty solid for the most part. I think their offense has let them down, and it's just been inconsistent against the Eagles. They look great. Bijan had a buck 30, I believe. Drake London did his thing, and Mooney as well, right? So it's just kind of like you need to get those ancillary guys going, and then your big dogs. So, um, nonetheless, it was fun to watch Sunday Night Football. We got two games coming up
Yeah.
on Monday night. Any thoughts on those games?
Buffalo's got this history with Jacksonville. They had their 9-6 game. I think that was last season or a couple seasons ago. They had their Jacksonville come from behind win in London.
Mhm.
Lots of
Yeah,
history there, and it seems like Buffalo takes them lightly every time they play them. So I still
it's
don't like Jacksonville. I still like
it's
Buffalo to win. Just win, baby. I don't know about any spreads here. Money
it's a
line, and
battle
you'll
of
be fine. So,
it's a battle of the Josh Allens too, right?
yeah.
The defender guy, he changed his name. He uses like a hyphenated name, but Buffalo's injuries are still piling up. Teron Johnson, he's out.
Revenge game for Gabe Davis. You can't forget that.
Yeah, I didn't actually
Coming
think of that
back
at
and
all.
give me up. I'll show you. All right.
Ev, Ev, Evan Ingram's out for Jacksonville. Darnell Savage is out for them as well. So there's just a few nicked up guys on each side. Commanders, Cincy. I think T. Higgins will play. Let's see. Nothing else
And let's
really
and let's not be
notable.
shy about this. This is a must win for Cincinnati. And if they
Yeah,
don't win, they're in that category of 0-3. What, you want to be the second team out of 100 and whatever to maybe
right.
make the playoffs, and who knows what your record is
Yes.
going to be, even if you make the playoffs like that. Backing into the playoffs isn't ideal, but I guess they'll take anything that
Seven,
they can get.
is 7.5 too much? Is Washington going to backdoor him and they'll be up like 15, 20 points or whatever, and then just out of nowhere, just another a little sloppy
Well, the defense
touchdown.
can't. Like, the coach almost tells them, like, "Hey, like, okay, we're up by 3 scores. Like, just take some time off the clock. Right? Don't hurt yourself, right?" And then
Mm-hmm.
when get down to like, okay, it's only 10 points now. Okay, let's switch it up. But like, they definitely prevent defense, right? That umbrella. They just kind of
We're gonna
slow them
see.
down as much as they can. And but yeah, no, I really think Cincinnati's finally going to ball out. They should have beat Kansas City. They'll finally
Yeah,
ball
they
out.
outplayed them.
I
Yeah,
don't know how Washington's defense stopped Malik Neighbors, but maybe they just weren't getting it to him enough. Maybe I'm not giving
yeah,
Dan Quinn enough credit, but we will see. I think the
yeah,
favorites will reign
definitely.
tomorrow.
Yeah, just
Maybe
taking
not
a quick
cover.
peek. Taking a quick peek at Thursday night, that line has dropped 2 points since the Cowboys lost and Giants won. Um, that might be a bit of an overcorrection, but still something to note. I believe Steelers are only 2 point favorites in Indy. That line smells a little fishy. Pittsburgh under a field goal. Texans are down to 4.5, them losing. And then Cincy, they were favored by 6.5. That line's moved down to 5.5. The Bears
Sorry,
were
where are
minus
they?
3.
Who are Cincy playing?
Carolina Panthers, and the Red Rifle.
Yes.
Yes, Red
The
Rifle at
return of
home.
Andy Dalton. Or sorry, who's at home? Cincinnati?
Cincinnati's in Carolina.
Oh, in Carolina. Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, the Red Rifle.
So
Revenge
you
game,
thought I was old?
baby.
Watch this. Boom. I don't know. I don't know if this was just a one-off or Vegas stinks or can't really put much stock in
I
that
think it was a
win.
bit
It
of
was
both. Bit of both. But like and then Rams were 3-point dogs. They're only 1.5 now. Bears are down to 1.5 point favorites. Eagles were -1. Now they're -2.5. So that line changed a lot after the Bucks got spanked and Eagles did their thing. I believe what else? 49ers are up to 10.5 point favorites. They were 9.5 when we were looking at it earlier.
oh yes.
And right. So that's gone over the key number of 10 there. And as well, I should note this is doesn't look like Herbert will play because Kansas City's now -8.5 in Chargers next week. So that tells me your boy Taylor, don't call me Tyler Heineke, will be starting for the Chargers. But still, divisional game, as we say, we're getting that many points. We're gonna
Hey,
have to take a long look at
Harbaugh
the Chargers.
he can run the
Exactly.
ball and
He will. He will.
he can have his game manager in there. He can tell him straight up,
Mm-hmm.
hey, you're not going to be the hero. You're going to manage the game for me. I'm going to tell you what to
Totally.
do. And then of
Right.
course, they're familiar, right?
Yeah.
So
Check
give
down
any
Charlie.
team that many points and some touchdowns in garbage time, and you got to win. So
Yeah, so that line's moved a bit, and then Ravens were, I believe, -1 before. Now they're up to 2.5 after winning, and Buffalo yet to play in week 3. And lines have creeped up to -4.5 over Seattle. I don't know, for some reason, I think that's going to be pretty tempting to take -4.5 points from Seattle. You're 3-0, and you're getting
sorry, who
four
are
and
they
a half
playing
points
again?
in Detroit, Motown,
Oh no,
8 Mile Road,
we
right?
just
Because
talked
both.
about this the other episode.
Mm-hmm. We
Yeah.
were
No,
looking at it.
Seahawks are maybe they'll keep it close. Talking script, but yeah, Detroit they look good, and I think Seattle's not going 4-0.
Okay, but I'm just saying, like, I think Seattle will be a
Taking the four and a
public
half
dog.
is
I think Seattle's a
yeah plus
public
four and a
dog
half.
next
Yeah,
week. Yeah, I
plus
think
four
I
and a
think the
half.
public will swallow up 4.5, and so that makes me like Detroit a little bit. But a
Yeah.
lot of time to look into that game. But all in all, a good recap. Kansas City covers the spread, covers the money line for Jer. We're loving it, and we are moving on. We got a doubleheader tomorrow, Monday night. We'll be back for a recap of those two games. So join us then. Please like, please subscribe, and we'll be back on S&S Pigskin Picks.